to the Vault XL. Thank you all for joining me. The Queen is out and about, and I decided to go live outside because it's so nice here in the high 10. This commentary is pertaining to Kevin Franke. He is married to Ruby Franke, the ex-vlogger who had a YouTube channel, 8 passengers, and then was on another YouTube channel with a Jody Hildebrandt. Both of these ladies are incarcerated, facing 6 counts child abuse of her 2 children. The 4 remaining children that were in her custody, Miss Ruby Franke, are now in the state's custody. I brought you commentary earlier where his lawyer says he's trying to or attempt to get custody of his children. I do not know what will happen with the state, but what you have to ask is the ultimate question: why didn't he automatically get custody of his said children when the children were retrieved out of the mother's custody alongside Miss Hildebrandt? Kevin Franke, where have you been for the past 13 months? This is a diabolical story. Please check my earlier content where I break down the LSD church, or LDS church, excuse me, tongue-tied, getting late. The role the church has played in the lives of these people. Were these people deranged? Is it an issue of upbringing, also faith, religious faith, or a combination of all of the above? During my last live stream, I compared this case to Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell due to the fact that the Mormon faith is introduced into both of these storylines and abuse is evident. In this case, and there was death in the Vallow Daybell case. Had these children continued to be starved to death and obviously abused, it would definitely be a repeat of the Daybell case. Where was this father for 13 months? When you listen to the last live stream, I play you information from the Law and Crime Network. Please check the YouTube queue for verification of my community board for that said video. It's 20+ minutes long. The host of the show is asking this lawyer information pertaining to the case and information pertaining to the father, Mr. Kevin Franke. He doesn't answer all of the questions because naturally this is an ongoing case and the state is involved. But there's no way you can explain logically a person staying that length of time away from their family and in the same breath say that you love your family. You can't say you love your kids and you don't call your kids, you don't visit your kids, you don't pick up your kids. You can't say you love your wife and you're not talking to her. So, Mr. Franke, I'm going to ask you directly, where the hell have you been for 13 months? What were you doing for 13 months, sir? What was the real reason that you left the house? Is it the souped up version that your lawyer has given the public, which is basically nothing? A hint that it was possibly child rearing issues on behalf of your wife. But you never just said it out your own mouth because you haven't spoken and the lawyer didn't say. At some point, you're going to have to speak because naturally people are going to want to hear from you. And how do you feel now knowing your children are in the state's care? That the state did not readily hand your children over to you. You should feel some type of way, because I definitely would feel some type of way that I'm married to someone who's been charged with a heinous crime alongside her friend, her buddy, and now the state won't give me my kids. Why not? Utah. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. When is this cycle going to end with you people out here abusing children? This is a sad day when you can go to a platform such as YouTube and search endlessly and by happenstance stories about abuse of children and murder of children. This goes to show you that these people out here do not need children. And no one is perfect. You have to learn to be a parent. You can't be taught how to be a parent because everybody's temperament and ideologies and perceptions are different. But my goodness, at some point, you should know that what you're doing to a child is unacceptable. Heinous, diabolical, inhumane. I think there was a power control with this woman, Ruby, and she wanted it and exacted it, and perhaps she got it. But sadly, it turned on her narcissistic, godlike, let's say God complex. It turned on her. The devil turned on her. The devil used her and Miss Hildebrandt. And that's his job. He's a user and a manipulator. And he doesn't pay you anything, so you've been working for free. And Mr. Kevin Franke, you have rode the ride. And you used this lawyer to be your mouthpiece to the crime network. But in the end, you have to bear responsibility for your children. The lawyer says you paid monies for the care of your children. Well, that's not good enough for me, because what type of person is just going to send a check or put money in an account and still have no contact with their children? That makes no damn sense. How could you think that was okay to continuously put monies up for children, however you did it, but never saw the children, visited the children, nor the mother, the wife, because you are still legally married? Will Mr. Kevin Franke be charged for child neglect? Worst case scenario, child neglect. Because some could say, well, you did walk off, sir. Rather, you thought it was a good idea. Listen to the wife's instructions and Miss Hildebrandt's suggestions. You are still a grown person with the free will to think for yourself. So you can't put it all off on the other woman, that she's manipulative, she's this, she's that. You still made a sound choice to walk away. That's on you. And this is what happens when you become an adult. You have to bear the cross that you carried. And this is your cross. You neglected your children. And you can't logically explain to your lawyer or nobody else why you would leave children in the care of a woman who was abusing them. And you knew that she was abusing them from earlier allegations. You want us to believe you never heard of the allegations against your wife? That's why she stopped posting to 8 passengers. Sir, stop the bullshit. All that stuff your lawyer said, they're lies. You didn't know. You didn't know. I never touched him. He never abused the kids. But you did, see. You may not have took the blow. You may not have duct taped anybody. You may not have made kids stand in a line to eat a banana. But you have knowledge. Because you couldn't be married to this woman and not know that things were not awry with your children and your wife, sir. Come on now. You mean to tell me the children never complained to you, Mr. Kevin Franke, about the mother's... Sorry about that, you guys. The kids never complained about the mother's reprimands for their behavior. You didn't know that one of your children, Chad, was sleeping in a beanbag for 7 months. So where was his bed? Was his bed in the room, sir, or had you all removed the bed? Are we going to find out that your children will attest that you are party to the abuse as well? Because for your sake, I hope they don't tell us that. And I'm sure you're hoping the same. Your older children who are no longer in your household or possession, what version are they going to give? Do you have a relationship with those two older children, sir? We find out that Sherry, your girl child, eldest, does not have a relationship with Ruby. Why not? Why not, sir? You got to bear the cross, because this is your responsibility. You brought those children here, and no matter what was going on with your wife, no matter what was going on in your household, you were responsible for those children alongside this nut, and you bailed out. And no matter the logic behind you walking out, removing yourself, it was the wrong decision. When you walked out, you should have took your children with you. How about that? You took the coward's way. And I do believe this was a deliberate plan. And I believe this woman is no different than Lori Vallow Daybell. They are neck to neck in jacked up ideologies. One started out as a good mother but had mental issues, and then later she kills her kids. Your wife was on her way right on the heels of Lori Vallow. Because had the children succumbed to their injuries and malnourishment, they would be dead. And then we would be talking about some dead kids. How about that? You had no knowledge of where they were, and she was down there at that woman's house. What are you doing down there? Killing your kids? That's what she was doing down there. I don't think you really understand the ramifications of this scenario. Your lawyer says you're distraught and this, that, and the other, but I don't know. I don't see you to know how you're feeling. And somebody say, oh, you're being cruel. Nah, no, I'm not. Because you can't explain logically walking away from somebody for a whole year and you're their parent. You're not sick. You're not ill. You didn't have a nervous breakdown. You didn't become homeless. Different reasons for why people wouldn't be taking care of their children. You were giving up monies. That's not good enough. And yes, we know that a lot of children out here who parents don't provide monies, but maybe they do spend time with them, but they don't have the financial need to help with their children. But still, children, yes, need monies. And yes, children need to be provided for. They also need attention. They also need love, is what they need. And you were vacant. You provided the monies, but then let's look at that. You were providing money for your children to be starved to death. Checkmate. Imagine that. So how do you feel about the monies you've been giving up for 13 months and your children were starving to death? So now we got to ask the state of the other children who have not been mentioned that are also in the state's care. I want everybody to picture that. Vacant father gives up monies for a year, no contact with the children or the mother, and the children will starve to death. Damn near to death. Emaciated. So what the hell was she doing with the money? A Ruby? Ruby, honey? Can you hear me? What were you doing with the monies that the father was giving you to take care of the family? Are you sleeping well in the jail? Because I know you're not. You and your girlfriend have been having health problems, allegedly, when you first got there. Yeah, most people do have health problems when they first go to jail because, one, they're not taking their meds if they have any, and they're stressed the hell out because they want to get their ass out of there. And you two have no bond. Oh, you're about to be real stressed out and sick. Sounds like a personal problem to me. Because you chose to get your ass in there. You didn't go to jail because something popped off between you and the neighbor. You've been stalked or bothered, harassed. You just popped off. You were abusing your damn kids. So I don't feel sorry for you and Hildebrand. No, ma'am. And if somebody loses the damn key to the jail, that's fine with me. You think you got problems now? Wait till you sit in there another month and another month. And if I'm able to be alive this time next year, you're still in there. Can't wear that red lipstick you like wearing in all your pictures and your photographs. How about that? Because I notice in your photographs, you love red lipstick. Miss Scarlet. Maybe that's what I'll call you from here on out. Scarlet Frankie. Because you like the color red. Some people will symbolize the color red with the devil. Maybe so. Ruby, did you plan on leaving your husband? Of course, this video is about Kevin, but I'm going to throw this in here. Was this an orchestrated plan to get out of your marriage because you had your eye? You had your eye on somebody else. Are you a bisexual or gay lady? Do you like Miss Hildebrandt? Were you two having an affair? Is that the real reason why, Kevin, you all were not together? I'm curious. Because I know there's more to the story than starving children. Hard discipline. There was some hanky-panky going on in this marriage. And what have you been doing these 13 months, sir? Have you had relations with another woman yourself? You know, we all can get very lonely at times. Want the company of another. The caress of another human being. The kiss on the lips. The kiss on the neck. Stroke of the arm. And you know the rest. Have you been with another woman, sir? Were you two sleeping around with other people in your marriage? Because like I said, there's more to the story than hard discipline and starving kids. There was something more sinister going on in this household besides abuse of children, hard discipline. We're talking about a woman who's jacked up, ideology jacked up, and dealing with this damn Mormon church. And I'm really tired of hearing about abuse and neglect with people in the Mormon church. I've had just about enough. And I don't like the fact that you're trying to use your lawyer as a mouthpiece to, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. Well, you know what's going on now. Your children are in the state's care, and your wife's in jail, she and her girlfriend, and you got to now wait to see if a judge is going to give you custody of your children. I don't know if you're the right person that should get the custody of the children. What do you think? If you can stay gone a year, you can stay gone another damn year. And why weren't your children in regular school? What's wrong with regular school? The rest of us went to regular schools. I didn't get homeschooled. I had an okay time in school. See, let me tell you something about homeschooling. I think a lot of people homeschool children because they don't want their children going off into the world, learning about other people, other religions, different attitudes, ideologies, because the parents want to instill jacked up ideologies into children. So they know that if they send their kids to regular school, public school, the kids are going to see that other people act different, live different, and now they're worried about their children asking about how other people live and act and why are they different. That's what I think. You don't want your children to live, be different. Now, when we look at the pictures, people will say, oh, they look happy. They look happy. They got a nice house in the background. The daddy's a professional. The mommy's a vlogger. All an act. Just like everything in the world. We're all different things to different people. Today we're happy, tomorrow we're pissed off, cussing people out. Today we're religious, 2 hours later we're cussing people out. That's life, ain't it? And as someone said, who you are at work may not be who you are at home. Sorry about my breaking up, everybody. We're always different at some point. But living a lie is a different story, category. Were these people living a lie to the general public? Did they have other people around them in their home? Family members have already come out to say they're relieved that she's in jail, Miss Ruby, and the children can have peace now. That's not a good thing to say, because that means people had knowledge that something was wrong with Miss Ruby and her discipline. And I got to say the father has to take this brunt too, because he was married to her. He can't get a pass because they were a couple together. It's not like she was raising her children as a single woman. So Kevin, Frankie, I'm going to say this to you this evening. You were responsible for those children, and you should have done the right thing, such as ask your wife to go to counseling. If she did not want to go, then you should have followed suit and filed for divorce. Separating from the house was not a good decision because you vacated the premises altogether, and that's not working on your family. Ruby, Frankie, there are no words for you. You're just a vile piece of shit, along with your fat-faced friend, Jody. And Jody, you have allegations against you from your own damn nieces of abuse as well when they were children. So you're used to abusing children, so you didn't have a problem abusing Ruby's children, and Ruby, you went ahead and let her finish where you left off. Checkmate. And Mr. Frankie, you just bowed out. Will Mr. Frankie get custody of the children? Do the children want to go with the father? That's first and foremost. Do they want to see him? Do they want to live with him? And will a judge rule for him to have custody? And if the judge rules for him to get custody of his children, should he get custody? Because he's been gone a year. And you can't explain that logically to a judge or anyone, psychotherapist, a rabbi, or priest, why you would just listen to your wife and her girlfriend. You're a coward. And I have no respect for you, Ruby, or Jody. And I'm glad that the children are not in any one of you all's custody. And I pray that whoever has them, that they treat them with respect and that they find them a loving home. And sadly, the children in the Daybell case, they didn't get the luxury of finishing out their lives. And God had a plan. And God had a plan in this story. God made sure that a little boy was able to escape a house where he was in bondage and abused, to be set free, to get help, and let the truth be known of what kind of life he and his siblings had. When I get another update, which there is more information in the queue, YouTube queue pertaining to this storyline, I will bring you another video. My next video will be pertaining to the West boys. I will be on a little bit later to bring you information pertaining to Jacqueline West's defense. They need more time to prepare information for the sentencing phase. It has been put off 2 times, and I'm going to bring you an update pertaining to that information a little later tonight. I want to thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chat to welcome during the live stream. Pray for our children because they need it. We are at war with ourselves, and we're using children as pawns and punching bags. And it is not fair to them, and it's inhumane to abuse a child. If you hear or see of a child being abused, make the call. You do not have to leave your name, but do the right thing and tell the truth. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Share this video, make it go viral. Please check out my latest content on this subject matter in the YouTube queue and my community page. Take the polls on my page pertaining to this diabolical case and pray for these children, that they will have a successful life and they will know love from somebody else that actually cares for them. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Mind the children. Pray for our youth because they're going to need it. Because every child is not in a loving home. There's a child possibly being abused right now. A child possibly hanging on to life. A child missing. And there's a child deceased by the hands of his own mother, caretaker, relatives, and or stranger. May God have mercy on us. And may God have mercy on anyone that abuses a child, because in the end, you're going to need it. Because if you don't get it in this life, you are surely going to need mercy in the next life. You've been listening to the Vault XL.